out, now this is shocking, that our ex-governor who had to resign for going to a prostitute, turns out he might have gone to a whole nother prostitute.
He turned him on another client list.
Yeah. Now, first of all, wouldn't you have expected... I mean, do you really think Elliot Spitzer, this was the first time he went to a hooker? If he's into hookers, he probably tried different... But the thing is, this guy, you know, he's a public official.
Yeah.
Okay. So he tried one prostitution service. Stick with that one. Because at least... if you start to spread it around to all the different services, it's going to get out.
People start to talk.
They do.
Yeah, it just gets ridiculous.
He so wanted to get caught. And plus, he wired funds. Who does that except for Jerry Springer? When he was mayor of Cincinnati, he wrote a check to a hooker. Yeah. That's how he got caught. Elliot was, I mean, he knows. This guy does investigations. You can't wire money.
It's exactly how you catch a guy.
It's amazing how badly he wanted to get caught. He really didn't want the job.
I love the post, though. And there he hoes again.
Oh, yeah. There's a book out of great post headlines I just read about.
And you know what's really embarrassing, not only to Elliot Spitzer, but to all men? The chick that they show on the cover of the Post today, that the latest one he's banging, is a fat chick. He paid a fat chick to fuck him.
Well, she's the madam, and she says she serviced him personally.
Yes. And, you know, she's really not that attractive. And he paid her. And I know the wife's got to be saying, I don't understand something. I'm way more attractive than this girl. Why? And this is something women are never going to understand.
What happened there?
I might throat for a second. But this is something women are not going to understand. That for a guy, it isn't always about the looks. You could take an uglier chick, but if she really has desire and really knows how to lick your sack and do all the wild things.
Yeah, the dirty stuff you won't do.
Yeah, it's so much more exciting. You know, sex is a funny thing for a guy. It's got to, you know...
But why won't you tell your wife what you want?
Because then they don't even do it anyway.
Look,
and then if they
won't do it, and then they look down on you.
But it's not even fun if you have to tell someone what...
What you have to tell this chick?
Look, Robin, there's a certain type of rim job I'd take from a hooker who looked like Martin Scorsese.
Like, I've never been with chicks who give a rim job. I've never had a girl tongue my asshole.
You know,
never.
Most non-hooker broads won't do that.
Yeah, but I don't know that I even want it.
Oh, you want it.
But I do.
Listen,
You've had that.
This is the only time I had a threesome was with two hookers.
All right.
And I didn't pay for it, though, but someone set it up for me.
Well, how's that happen?
I was in Vegas. You know what? I was opening up for Norm at the Rio in Vegas, and this guy who was like our liaison, taking us around to the show and dinner.
I can't believe Lifebeat doesn't want your money.
Wait till they hear this story. They'll start accepting the money again.
He says to me, I see him, and this guy says to me, he's like a real party guy, and like Norm didn't want anything to do with him because he was creeped out by him. But you know, I would get into Vegas and. You know, sometimes I'd get, like, some ecstasy and take it to stay up all night.
Oh, jeez.
And,
can't believe Norm was creeped out by that behavior.
Because,
You're getting rim jobs from hookers and ecstasy.
Yeah. No, because I'd get into Vegas and I didn't feel like going to sleep. I'd literally fly from L.A. with, like, a toothbrush, and I'd have to open 2 nights in a row. So I didn't want to oversleep, so I would take an ecstasy, not even get high, just to stay up to do the show. But this guy got me the ecstasy. So he knew all these contacts.
Right.
So after one weekend of that...
Get to the rim job.
Right. So he says to me...
talking long-winded.
Yeah, talk about a long-winded story. Jimmy Florentine's breaking up with you.
A bunch of people laughing at that part of the story.
Go ahead.
And I'm doing backstory on the character.
Go ahead.
So the next time we go back, he knows I like to kind of party and hang out. So he says to me... he
figured that out.
He gives me like a couple of hits of ecstasy, and he goes, hey, listen, go upstairs and just get comfortable, and I'm going to send you up someone from the hotel who's going to brief you on the itinerary for this weekend. And he had never done that before. I'm like, itinerary? I just, you know, the show times are 8, and then, you know, he's like, nah, just really, there's going to be some different stuff this weekend. So I go up there, and it's the nicest suite still I've ever had at a hotel. Someone dropped out, and I got like a suite like Norm had. I had a little pool in the fucking thing, and the Rio, it wraps around, and you see all of Vegas. I go up there, and there's all booze, whiskey set up, and 20 minutes later, there's a knock at the door, and I honestly had no inkling. I really thought it was going to be an itinerary guy, and I open the door, and it's two, you know, God, they were like 9s.
Wow.
Solid 9s. A brunette and a blonde.
Spitzer needed a friend like this guy.
Yeah, well, Vegas is full of them.
He needed a guy, one guy he could trust.
Right.
Like Ralph's my guy. Like when I was single,
this guy
I didn't want my kids to know, I was dating around and stuff.
Right.
Ralph would help facilitate where I would meet people and stuff. And I could trust him. He never ever gave out any details.
See, Ralph should go to Vegas. That's where he might be a career person, because hotels for hot, VIPs and entertainers.
No, that would be an actual job. He can't handle that.
Yeah, does he have to show up all the time?
These guys are slick guys, so they come in and they got like real hot stripper, like those Hooters type shirts, belly shirts.
Yeah.
And Howard, I'll never forget, the one was, they were both smoking, big fake tits, blonde, brunette, and both of them had that thing where their stomachs were so, like they were so thin where you could kind of see the hip bones.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, my God.
I love that. I love them like they look like Biafrans.
Yeah, and they were tan and like really nice asses.
Big fake tits and almost no body weight.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's two big tits you just walk in the room.
With legs.
Yeah. So we'll call the guy who set this up Johnny. So he says, Johnny wants us to give you a lap dance. And I was like, really? Wow. I mean, these must have been $5,000 whores or something. I mean, they were really hot, and they were both in their 20s, I assume. So I go, do you want a drink? They're like, yeah, I pour them. We all do. And they drink like strippers. We're doing straight shots of warm Jack.
Oh.
We're going to need a triple, pal.
Well, that's what it seemed like, because they were both down in drinks.
How big a job this was.
They were drinking like Dean Martin.
Either that or 30 showers after we fuck you.
They were doing. Like, they were like, oh, you got Doc.
Right.
So,
thank you.
Yes. So we sit on we sit on this big velour, like blue Vegas type couch, real cheesy, and we all have drinks, and they start giving me a lap dance, and they get into their thongs, they get topless, and then they're in minutes just completely naked, and they're going up my shirt and shit, and
rubbing your titties.
Yeah, rubbing my titties, and
was this when you were heavy, or were you?
No, I was actually very thin.
Okay.
Okay.
This is like
that makes it so much sexier.
This is about 5 months before I got the job with you guys.
Okay.
Because it was the second season of the show. So one of them the blonde starts making out with me, and the blonde was clearly like filthier.
Yeah. Pig.
And but I was more attracted to the brunette. It's weird.
Isn't it always the way it is?
Which I know you've said this before. Threesomes are weird. I'd rather be one hot chick I can focus on because you don't know what to do. So they go, hey, let's get more comfortable in the bedroom, and I go in there, and I'm waiting for the stroke of midnight. Like how much did he pay for here? And we go in the bedroom, we get on the bed, and I aggressively go towards the brunette because I just thought she was hotter,
right,
and just more my type. And I start making out with her, and the other chick is like kissing my neck and stuff. And
wow,
and then
you must have paid a fortune.
And then the blonde, the filthier one, had rubbers. So the blonde puts a rubber on me with her mouth.
Nice.
And then I lean over and I start banging the brunette.
Right.
And
they don't care.
I'm banging her, and at this point, sort of in my head, it was so much fun. But I'm thinking, is the blonde cleaning me out?
Yeah, what's the blonde doing?
I should have made the blonde clap her hands so she wouldn't steal anything.
So you tell me the blonde put her tongue up your ass?
So right, so yeah, so while I'm doing missionary with this girl, I'm wondering where the blonde is, and yeah, sure enough, I feel her starting to kiss my back. And it gets lower and lower.
Oh, my God.
And she just shoved her tongue in my ass.
Wow.
And I went, whoa.
Wow.
I didn't know what to do at first. I was like, oh, my God. And then...
You should have just taken a shit.
And I was starting to think, when did I shit last? Did I shit on the plane?
That's what I mean.
But thank God I hadn't. I'd showered in L.A.
Right.
Wow.
Nice.
So... At first it was
showered in L.A.
At first it was startling.
Do you forget the brunette you're banging?
No.
Well, you continue your motion?
I'm having intercourse.
Did you blow your load in a second?
So what happened was, at first it was startling, and I thrusted forward so hard I almost crushed the brunette. And then I was going to say get out of there, and then man, she was good at it because she gave me, and it's one of the only ones I've ever gotten. She gave me a rim job.
Wow.
And
a thorough tongue bath.
It became so sensual.
Really?
And so erotic.
Wow.
I about 20 seconds later had the most incredible like orgasm I've ever had. You know, banging the other chick.
Do you think that was it weird that you just made out with her and you're thinking how many of tongues, you know, how many times she's tongued a guy's asshole?
I was able to put that out of my head.
Yeah,
but you definitely don't kiss her again, right?
No.
So I gave after that I gave them both an ecstasy. And
yeah, she needed it
so
for
generous.
sure.
And then the other one, then the blonde started blowing me again.
Wow. And
from the ecstasy though, it takes a long time to come. And she must have been getting a crimp in her neck or something. And I ended up finishing, but it took a while. So I came twice, and you know, and I said, "Do I owe you anything?" And she said, "No, we have strict instructions not to take a thing from you." And they were good whores because they wouldn't take a thing. And I went back down and he was at the craps table, this guy Johnny.
Right.
And he looked at me. He was a typical like Vegas party guy. Like sometimes these guys are pains in the ass, but there's times they're the guy you want around.
Right.
So he goes, "Hey, how was the itinerary?" And I walked up to him and I said, the only thing I could think of saying, I said, "What, no redhead?"
Wow.
Well, do you know that on 2020 last week, they had a 2-hour series on prostitution in America?
Right.
And what they uncovered was these girls don't like their job.
Yeah. What do you know?
I asked them.
Diane Sawyer to find out.
But boy, they sure know how to act because, you know, she didn't need to put her tongue up Artie's asshole. I mean, that was pretty nice.
She
Pete,
felt
you're on
neglected. And I begged the guy, Johnny, how much did you pay? I said, I got to know how much you paid him because, and you know what he said to me? He goes, "You know what? You'll be depressed. Don't worry about it, man. They're friends of mine." And he never gave me the number. But I said, "What if I want to hire them?" He goes, "I'll give you the number, but don't worry about it. It's on me." You know, that thing.
Wow.